Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Office of Public Information, where we are sharing stories about the bright side of education.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. I'm your host, Jose Gaston, the proud superintendent of the Sunnyside Unified School District. And we have a special guest here today. We have Crystal Picazo, who is the ABSS at Gallego Primary. So welcome, Crystal. How are you?
Good. Just want to let everybody know that he changes persona. As soon as he turned the microphone on, his voice changed, his body posture changed. He was like, it's just a conversation between friends. But then he totally changed.
It's a total conversation. We got to get a little animated. We do got to put on a little bit of a show. So I'm glad you're ready. I'm glad you brought your A game. So that you came out of your shell within like 2 seconds.
No game.
So you know, we're really here to share your story, Crystal. Or I should call you, be more formal, Mrs. Picazo. You know, in terms of, you know, how you arrived at Sunnyside. You know, I think we'll start with, you know, are you a native Tucsonan?
Yes.
You are. And so I hear that you did not attend Sunnyside Unified School District, so we did steal you from another district.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you went to school, and you know, what led you on this path to education?
I grew up in Tucson. My family is all from Tucson, so I'm not from anywhere else. I'm a Tucson girl. And I went, you know, to USD the whole time, graduated from Pueblo. I didn't go straight to college. I joined the military first, and then...
what branch?
The Army. So
Okay.
I'm a soldier.
All right, cool.
And when you get out, you start thinking about what you're going to do next. I had a son, so I followed him around just like we have all the helicopter moms in our schools all the time. That was me, except I never left.
Mm-hmm. Very cool story and experiences. We won't hold the TSD thing against you. You know, they do say that Pueblo High School graduates have PhDs. You know what that stands for? I'm sure you've heard that, because every warrior talks about that. So what does that PhD stand for?
Actually, I have no idea.
No?
No.
It's a Pueblo High School diploma.
Oh, I do
right?
have one of those.
So, you know, Pueblo graduates say they have PhDs.
Yep.
So, but no, so I'm glad that you found your way to Sunnyside, you know, and I think you've been in the district for 11 years, you know, serving in different roles, different capacities. So tell our audience a little bit about how you got to Sunnyside. You know, where have you worked? What schools have you served? And you know, what was your inspiration? Like, why education? I always ask that question because, you know, I do feel that sometimes we have influences that guide us in certain directions. And so tell us a little bit about your story in terms of why Sunnyside and how you got here and what your experiences have been here in the district.
So when I had my son, he was homeschooled because he had some, strength-based. My son is awesome, but teachers don't always understand the kind of awesome all kids are. And I followed him to school when he did go to school. And then I saw the need for having more bodies in the classroom and for having more patience and a different kinds of lens when looking at students. And I realized that this school was, you know, that was where I needed to be to make sure that all the students receive that kind of care and love. And not just students who sit in a chair and listen attentively and our vision of what students are going to be in the classroom, but all students. And when we were still in the military, so my husband got out of the Army after I did. So we were stationed at Fort Bliss, and I applied to work at a lot of schools. And my first interview was at Los Amigos. And within 15 minutes of leaving the school, Valerie gave me a call back, and she's like, we'd like to hire you. And even though I had a list of schools I was going to, I was like, yes, I don't have to do that again. So, and I just lucked out. Los Amigos is an amazing school. I had amazing leadership, and I joined an amazing team. Most of the team has moved on to do great things. My mentor was Karina Navarrete. So she's, who I still go to this day to ask questions. And then just being at Los Amigos and being surrounded by the kind of teachers there that did have the type of love and care I was looking for my student, and being surrounded by those people, I was like, yes, this is the community I want to be part of. This is the job that I want to be part of. These are the humans I want to surround myself with.
Yeah, so Los Amigos has always been one of our stronger elementary schools, and has performed quite well. There's a lot of history over there, right? A lot of history in terms of, a lot of the teachers going on to different roles and leadership roles. And, I do love that piece that you shared with the audience about your son, right? Because, I think we need to approach students as they're all different, right? They're all different. They all have different strengths, and they all have different needs. And as educators, we got to make sure we're tapping into those strengths and supporting, each and every one of our students. So I'm glad that you shared that piece, and I'm glad you were a little vulnerable sharing that piece with our listeners. And I'm glad you're working here in our district, right? I mean, I think, we need strong leaders. And as you mentioned, you got your start at Los Amigos, and obviously the team there saw the potential in you, right? Saw the potential in what you brought to the table, and I continue to hear great things about you, and now you've left Los Amigos. It's been 2 years.
This is my second year.
Second
at
year.
Gallego.
So you're now at Gallego Primary, serving as the ABSS, which is AKA vice principal, right? And so as you've transitioned from the leopard to the gatita, right? Tell us a little bit about your transition, because two different worlds, right? Two different cultures, and we mentioned earlier that I think people that have worked at Los Amigos, they're big braggers. I'm just going to say it, right? They brag about Los Amigos and this and that, and I know those listeners that work with us that are now working at central office and were former Los Amigos probably going to give me a hard time about it, but now you're a Gallego Primary Gato, right? And so what has that transition been like for you? You're serving a K-3 school now.
Yeah, it was tough to go K-3. My last teaching was lab school teaching 9th grade math. And so I went from 9th grade students to K-3 students. And so that was a big transition. And also just working with the types of teachers who teach middle school and high school are a lot different than teachers who choose to teach kindergarten through 3rd grade. But everybody at Gallego was super welcoming. The front office staff had so much patience with me, showing me how to do my job, like all the admin stuff that I didn't know how to do, coming from the classroom straight to an admin position. The teachers there were also really great. And so I think moving in, and Los Amigos does have a lot of things to brag about, but I think this year and last year has shown that Gallego has a little bit more.
Uh-oh. Boom. Starting some fighting words there. You're going to get some hate mail right there.
I
don't
know,
man. Social media.
I felt nervous just saying it, but...
Well, but you have to be biased to the school you serve, right? I mean, it's the rivalry stuff, right? We hear the Sunnyside Desert View all the time. We get the battle between the middle schools and sports, and so yeah, you gotta support the school you're at, and so. But I know those Los Amigos people are gonna come right back at you. All right, before we get into our next piece, we're gonna go to a commercial break. So listeners, stay tuned. We'll be back with a lot more information.
Sunnyside students can have it all, learning and growing to graduate college, career, and community ready. Don't believe us? Just watch. At Sunnyside Unified School District, we are preparing our graduates with real-world skills and experiences. Our graduates are leaving Sunnyside to pursue an Ivy League education, becoming collegiate-level athletes, and earning prestigious scholarships such as the Gates Millennium, Dell, and Dorrance.
So, earlier you were talking about right out of high school, you went straight to the military, you're into the Army, and I want to thank you for your service, and also your husband, Mr. Picazo, who was a teacher at Drexel. Thank you both for your service. And so, I think one of the questions always asked is why the military, right? Right out of being a young 18-year-old and then boom, straight to the military, leaving the state. And so what prompted that decision?
Well, like I said, I grew up in Tucson. I'm a Hispanic female, so I grew up in a Hispanic household where it was, if you live under my roof, then you follow my rules. And so I left the roof. And
you left the roof. You left the roof and made your own rules, huh?
Yes. And the only way that I could make that happen immediate, because we weren't a family that had college graduates, so that wasn't even a possibility in my mind at that time. It was, no one in my family had ever graduated from college, and so to me, my only option was the military. And so I left, and me and my husband were actually already together, and so we left together.
So you left because of your husband, not really
No.
Mr. Picasso, you stud, right? Is that what it was? So all right. So you left. You had already met your husband. You guys were dating. Both went into the military.
Yes.
Gosh, both. What a story, right? Both.
Not at the same time. So I was in first for years, and
you were
then
the
he
example.
followed me. Mm-hmm.
He followed you.
Yes, he followed me.
All right. Well, that's awesome. And again, thank you both for your service. I mean, what a awesome story. And it just goes to show to our listeners, our young listeners out there, that there's different pathways, right, to be successful.
Definitely.
It just doesn't have to be, as much as we preach, get an education, go to college. Some people go the military route, and they learn a lot from it. Some people, and this isn't referring to you, but some people need more time to mature and grow up and figure out what they want to do. And then there's that beautiful GI Bill, right, that pays for school, and you're not in debt. So to all our veterans out there, big shout out to you. And if you are getting your education degrees, come see us, right, because there's fits for you here. As we shift topics here, I do want to recognize that you recently were awarded a prestigious Aspiring Administrators Award, and the award was through AZALAS, which is the Arizona Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents. It's a mouthful, right? But it's a prestigious organization who definitely these individuals work with Latino communities, right? Latino districts, and Sunnyside definitely, has a strong presence of Latinos, Hispanics, and so the title of the award was AZALAS Aspiring Leader Award, and so this happened this past November, and I want to publicly congratulate you because it definitely is a prestigious award. It's a very competitive award when you think of all the districts in Arizona and all the different applicants that were there, and I'm sure it was a tough decision for the committee, and you finished out on top. So I mean, you got to feel good about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize what it was. I didn't understand that that's what was happening. I didn't even know what was said about me until after the fact, and so I just getting there and walking in and seeing all of those people, the first thing that I thought was, please don't fall. And then after that, it was like, I can't believe that this is really happening, that people really think these things. And, just all the work that went into making it look good. That video was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and,
shout out to our public relations team.
Yes.
They can make anything look good, but it wasn't made up, Miss Picasso. It's what you actually did. and what you actually deserve. And so, I think there's a saying out there, and I'm not even going to try to attempt to say it, but the best compliments are the compliments you receive from your colleagues, right? And when your work's recognized by those you work around, I mean that's the ultimate compliment, and so we also did a board recognition where you had your colleagues there and they were there supporting you, and so that's got to feel good. It's got to feel good, and I know you had family there as well, and your husband was there, and so. It's you should feel good about it.
Yeah, it was really special because of that. G. Flores is somebody I've looked up to for a long time, and to hear that she thinks that about me was
G.
really
Flores
important.
sounds like a gangster name. So Miss G. Flores.
Miss G. Flores
is
the principal, my
principal of Gallego Primary,
Yes.
Elizabeth G. Flores, not like G. Flores rapper.
It's because we both, she comes from a what do you call it?
She's a G.
Yeah, she is a G, but
Okay.
What is it? Law enforcement
Law
background.
enforcement.
And then I was military,
Oh, okay.
so we call each other by our last names. It's
Wow.
the norm,
Yeah.
and so everybody called her by her last name, and that's what we
Got
do.
law enforcement and military backgrounds at Gallego.
You're
Watch out,
safe.
parents.
Don't play with it.
So I had the honor of awarding you the award that night at AZ Alas. As we said earlier, there was hundreds of people there. They played the video. We welcomed you up to the stage. Good thing they didn't put you on the spot to speak, huh?
Yes.
But it was neat to share that moment with you, and you're repping. You're representing Sunnyside. You're representing Gallego. You're representing this community, and it's well deserved. So congratulations once again. As you think about, what's your end game? I think about, I ask this question a lot to individuals, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What do you want out of your career? And so the other thing is, I always ask the question, who inspired you? Who were your influences, positive influences as you started working and headed towards these lofty goals. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think it was just I lucked out in a lot of ways. I lucked out in that I had a really strong team of knowledgeable people to work with from the beginning. I copied everything that they did, and anything that was great, I stole it and modified it and made it mine in some way in my classroom. And then I continued to do the same thing as a school. That we have so much talent and knowledge in our district, and I'm a forever learner, so I absorb everything that all these wonderful people are doing around me all the time, and I'm just really lucky to get to work with these great people. And I look at them and I'm like, I can't believe that I get to call some of these people friends. Dr. Hackett was, I think I started listening. I was like, oh no, I don't know what he's going to ask me, so I better think about all the things that I've been doing.
That bad, huh?
But I was thinking about it, and I was looking through, and a lot of these things that I've done for the district, math cadre, writing MLRs, PLDs, ELPs, lab school, even my first nationally published accreditation goes to the fact that Maggie at one time believed in me and asked me to do this work for her. And so from the beginning, I always just volunteered to do everything, no matter what it was in the district, because I wanted to learn and I wanted to be better. And in doing so, I got to, like I said, Pam met into being a lead learner and working with her back when it was still lead teacher, and going through SAIL and SAL and really getting to talk to her and hear how she thinks about curriculum and the school and all the great things that she's done for the district too. And so just surrounding myself by these people, I hope they know that I steal everything, that any grand idea that they have, it's mine now.
Oh man, their heads are gonna swell.
And I've left people out of there, but there's.
I know you made the mistake of naming people. Now you just forgot a bunch of them. So you'll hear about that later. But
Lucy came out in the podcast, and I remember she said, "I'm not going to say anybody's name because I'm gonna forget somebody, and it's gonna come back to me." And I see Lucy was smarter than me.
You just admitted you're a loyal podcast follower. So thank you for listening, Ms. Picazo.
Yes.
And hit that like button. So I think you said some. And I think we just saw a humble side of you, talking about, that you're a learner. And, in this organization, we like to talk about, there's no hierarchy in learning. And those are the people that get better, right? I mean, the people that are willing to learn, the people that are willing to get better, the people that are willing to take risk, those people are successful people, when it's, I think the people that think they've arrived and know it all, and let's just be honest, there's people out there like that, they struggle, and sometimes they're not coachable, right? And I know I'm talking smack now, but it's the truth, right? And so we have to continue to lead by purpose, not positional power. We have to continue to have this mindset of there's no hierarchy in learning, and we need to continue to be learners. And so I applaud you for that. We can learn a lot from each other. And so what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now?
Oh, that's scary. My son will be finished with college. It kind of gets lonely thinking about things about in 5 years when your kids start to move away, and I only have one.
Is that what they call it, empty nest?
Yeah, empty nesting. I have one kid, and like I told you, my whole life has been centered around his needs at that moment, and it led me to this path of education, and so.
So you're gonna have to let go, huh?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
So what about your, you quickly went to your son and how you're gonna feel in 5 years when he's not there to hug you. And
that's my biggest fear.
What about your career? What do you hope to do? I mean, are you planning on being an ABSS?
I'm not really sure, because for me, I think the epitome of education, the teacher is that's. I think a lot of times we forget
so you want to go back to the classroom?
Sometimes I do. And it hasn't been that long. It's only been a year. Yeah. I taught summer school, and we need to remember that everything that we do is in service to the teachers and what they're doing in their classroom. And I think that people move out of the classroom and forget that that's our position. Everything. Yeah. It started with a teacher and a student, and then every role that has grown from that, it was just to make sure that the most instruction was happening in the classroom.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I chose this role, was because I wanted to make sure that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The heart and soul of education is our teachers, right? And so they're the ones that spend the most time with our kids, and they're the ones that definitely have the biggest impacts and the opportunities to impact each and every day. So a shout out to all of our teachers, a lot of respect for what you do, and high fives all the way around. I mean, we got to continue to support our teachers, and we got to do right by them, right? We got to make sure they're treated right, make sure we can pay them as much as possible and compensate them correctly. And so I know I'm putting my foot in my mouth right now, but it's true,
you
right?
Heard that, right?
We that's you have no teachers, you don't have no district, right? You don't operate, so we can't, and I think our biggest influences have always been our teachers, right? When you ask people that are successful, they're often going to talk about those teachers that had huge impacts in their lives. And so as we wrap up here, any last thoughts, any last comments, any shout outs that you want to share with the audience?
I don't know, that was a big
That's a pretty simple question.
No,
No names. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, I'm sitting here for a reason. If I wouldn't have received that award, if people wouldn't have thought those things about me and noticed what's happening, you would never have asked me to sit here. And so just most of the things that were on that resume or that, that application that she put forward, I did as a teacher. I didn't wait until I was in a leadership role. I didn't need a title to do any of those things that were on that paper. It was just me and the kids having fun in the classroom.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is you never know who's looking, but people are looking, right? I mean, if that makes sense. And so obviously, what you've done in your career is being noticed, right? The impact you have is being noticed, and I'm glad we got the opportunity to bring you on the show and learn a lot more about you. And we hope that you continue to serve the Sunnyside District as you're a valuable employee, valuable person to this organization, and we hope that you stay here for a long time. And so that wraps up this episode of Somos Sunnyside. I want to thank you for being on the show, and want to thank our listeners for listening, and please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and reach out to us with ideas. Again, the goal of our show is to highlight the amazing things happening in our community. Not with our students, our teachers. I mean, we've had students on the show, we've had teachers on the show, we've had community members on the show. Probably got to bring some parents on the show, right? Maybe we need to bring some parents and get some parent perspective in here. But thank you for joining us. And as we approach the holidays, we hope everyone has an enjoyable and safe holiday season. So take care. Hasta la próxima.